When you think of Hollywood stars, you probably picture mansions, supercars, and closets full of designer clothes. But did you know that some of the most famous actors you know live nothing like that? No flashy homes, no luxury lifestyle. Some wear the same old clothes, drive beat-up cars, and live in small houses by choice. And they're not broke. They're worth millions. So why do they live this way? Is it freedom, fear, or something deeper? These are the celebrities who shocked everyone by choosing a simple life, even after massive fame and fortune. Join us as we uncover these surprising choices and reveal why living simple made them happier. Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer's story isn't about pretending to be humble. It comes from real pressure at a very young age. By the time she was just 12 years old, Keke was already carrying the financial weight of her entire family. That kind of responsibility doesn't come with a rule book. Even with a business manager, she later filed for bankruptcy around the age of 18. That moment changed how she looked at money forever. Instead of chasing a flashy lifestyle, she made a clear choice to live far below what she could afford. Years later, at the 2024 Building Wealth Today for Tomorrow Financial Empowerment Summit, she explained it in very simple terms. She said, "If I got $10,000 in the bank, then my house would be $500 a month." Not because she couldn't afford more, but because she wanted protection. She admitted she could pay $2,500 in rent, but she chooses not to. Her reason was clear. She wants to invest in her business. And when money goes into building something long-term, other things have to wait. She said it plainly. Instead of Gucci, she wears Zara. She lives in a good place, drives a cool car, but her money is going somewhere else. Right now, that car is a Toyota sitting in her driveway. For Keke, living smaller isn't about missing out. It's about staying safe, staying smart, and making sure she never feels trapped again. And that mindset sets the tone for everyone else on this list. Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is one of those names everyone knows, yet he lives in a way that still surprises people. Despite being worth nearly $400 million, he has never chased the typical Hollywood lifestyle. Over the years, he's been photographed riding the subway, sitting on park benches, and eating simple meals like anyone else. This isn't a phase or a stunt, it's how he lives. Keanu doesn't own a collection of luxury cars. He doesn't surround himself with excess. While filming, he often stays in modest places instead of expensive hotels. And when it comes to money, his choices speak even louder. From the Matrix films alone, he earned around $144 million. Out of that, he reportedly gave away about $80 million to people who worked behind the scenes and to causes he cared about. He once showed that money can give security without turning into a burden. He drives a solid, reliable Honda. He lives in a modest apartment because, in his own thinking, he doesn't need extra space he wouldn't use. To him, big homes can turn into problems instead of comfort. He has been seen sharing breakfast with a homeless man and donating millions to leukemia research. For Keanu, happiness doesn't come from owning things. It comes from freedom, kindness, and staying grounded. And the way he moves through the world makes people wonder what really matters once you've already made it. Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran's lifestyle surprises people just as much as his success. With a net worth around $200 million and multiple Grammy Awards, most would expect non-stop luxury. But Ed does the opposite. He gives himself a monthly salary of about $1,000. He explained this in an interview by saying that if all his money sat in one account, he would spend it too easily. So instead, he limits himself. That small allowance mostly goes to taxis. And when it comes to relaxing, his idea of a vacation is simple. He once said he bought around 200 DVDs from Amazon because they were so cheap. Then he stayed home and watched them. He even joked that DVDs are basically being given away now. His mindset comes from his past. Before the fame, Ed didn't always have a place to sleep. He shared that there was a time when he spent nights near Buckingham Palace, sleeping by a heating duct because he had nowhere else to go. For much of 2008, 2009, and 2010, he didn't have stable housing. Yet, he kept going. That experience stayed with him. Even after reaching global fame, he doesn't like being wasteful. His story isn't about being cheap. It's about remembering where he came from and making sure success never turns into carelessness. And that balance keeps his life quiet, even when his career is anything but. Shailene Woodley. Shailene Woodley may look glamorous on the red carpet, but her real life tells a very different story. Off camera, she prefers comfort and simplicity. She once admitted that if she showed up to an interview wearing her everyday clothes, like five-toe shoes and organic leggings, people wouldn't take her seriously. So for work, she dresses the part. But those designer gowns don't stay with her. She made it clear that after events, those dresses go on to be worn by others and are eventually auctioned off for charity. That choice says a lot. Shailene grew up without much money, but she never felt like anything was missing. That upbringing shaped how she sees success. She described herself as a hustler from a young age, starting babysitting at just 10 years old to earn extra cash. For her, money wasn't about luxury. It was about freedom. Enough gas to go on a road trip. Enough cash to see a movie with friends. That mindset never left. Even now, her focus isn't on keeping expensive items. It's about making use of what she has and passing it on. Her red carpet image might shine, but behind it is someone who still values effort, simplicity, and giving back. And that contrast makes her story stand out even more. Kieran Culkin. Kieran Culkin's approach to money is quiet, but telling. For about 20 years, starting at age 19, he lived in the same one-bedroom apartment in Manhattan. This wasn't before success. This was during a long acting career. Even as his work picked up, his living situation stayed the same. It wasn't until after filming season 3 of Succession that he finally moved. At that point, his wife, Jazz Charton, was expecting their son, and they already had a daughter, Kinsey. Only then did they choose a bigger place. In a 2021 interview, Kieran joked, "I'm finally making money for the first time in my 30-something-year career." His frugal habits are often linked to his childhood, growing up in a crowded New York apartment with limited money. That experience shaped his comfort with smaller spaces and simpler living. He's not known for flashy spending. If he splurges, it's on specific things that matter to him, like his stereo system. Otherwise, he avoids unnecessary luxury. His story shows that even after major success, some people don't feel the need to change their lifestyle overnight. And that quiet choice leaves a big question hanging in the air about what success really looks like when no one is watching. Sarah Michelle Gellar. Sarah Michelle Gellar became a household name thanks to her role as Buffy in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Later, she also built a successful business career with her food company, Food Stirs, which launched in 2015 and quickly gained attention, even raising millions from investors. Yet, none of that success changed how she looks at money. In 2018, she openly admitted that she still cuts coupons. She shared a moment that perfectly shows her mindset. While shopping at Bloomingdale's during the holidays, she was using coupons at the checkout. The store had good ones, and she was taking her time. A woman behind her grew impatient and asked why she was using coupons at all. Sarah remembered looking back and thinking, "Why should I pay more?" She explained it clearly. If a coupon exists, she's going to use it. To her, being successful doesn't mean being careless with spending. She has never believed in wasting money just because you can afford to. That careful thinking shows up in other ways too. She admitted she avoids writing big checks or making large purchases unless she truly has to. She even said her husband used to question her for driving farther just to fill up gas at a cheaper station. He would point out that she was using gas to get there. Sarah laughed and admitted that sometimes her principles might be a little off, but she still sticks to them. Even as a famous actor and entrepreneur, she refuses to pay extra just for comfort or image. And that raises a bigger question about how many other stars quietly think the same way. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is not just a basketball legend. He's one of the wealthiest athletes in history, with a fortune that reached billionaire status. But when it comes to spending, his reputation tells a very different story. People who have crossed paths with him often describe him as extremely careful with money, especially when tipping. One well-known story came from Rich Stafella, who worked at the Hard Rock Hotel. He recalled a moment when Michael ordered a drink and tipped the cocktail waitress just $5. Another man stepped in, took the chip away, replaced it with a $100 chip, and told Jordan, "That's how we tip in Las Vegas, Michael." That moment stuck because it showed how far Jordan's habits were from what people expect from someone with that level of wealth. Even his close friend Charles Barkley joked about it publicly. On The Oprah Winfrey Show, Barkley shared that Jordan once stopped him from giving spare change to a homeless man. Jordan's comment was blunt. If the man could ask for change, he could ask for a job. That mindset shocked some fans, but it fit a pattern. Jordan's careful spending didn't start after fame. It went all the way back to his rookie days. After the 1985 All-Star Game, he came home to frozen pipes. Why? He had turned off the heat to save money. Fans joked about it, calling it the freeze-out game, but it showed how serious he was about cutting costs. Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks built her career as one of the world's top models, then expanded into television with America's Next Top Model, and later into business with her beauty brand. But long before all of that, she learned how to save. In a 2018 interview, Tyra explained that she was always a saver, even before her career took off. While her brother liked to spend, she preferred to hold on to money and use it slowly. Her mother played a huge role in shaping that habit. Tyra said her mom taught her about real estate and explained that in Los Angeles, property usually grows in value over time. That lesson stuck. While many models around her were partying, shopping, staying in expensive hotels, and buying designer clothes during Fashion Week, Tyra made a very different choice. She stayed at places like DoubleTree or Embassy Suites. She saved her money instead of showing it off. Because of that discipline, she bought a house at just 20 years old. Even later in her career, her saving habits surprised people. Tyra admitted there was a point when her accountants pulled her aside and told her she needed to spend more money. They warned her that she was giving too much away to taxes by not spending at all. They actually asked her to create a separate account just for fun spending. She said she needed that system to feel safe. Even then, the idea of saving still came first. Tyra's story shows how deeply early lessons can shape a person's life, and it also hints at how being careful with money can sometimes go too far. Jay Leno. Jay Leno is best known as the longtime host of The Tonight Show, and later as the face of Jay Leno's Garage. His career in comedy and television made him incredibly wealthy, but his money habits stayed very old-fashioned. In 2017, he explained his approach in simple terms. He always had two incomes. One income was saved, the other was spent. When he was younger, he worked at a car dealership and did comedy on the side. He saved the dealership money and spent what he earned as a comedian. Later, when comedy started paying more than the dealership, he flipped the system. He saved the comedy money and lived off the dealership income. Even after landing The Tonight Show, he kept that habit. He made sure to do around 150 comedy gigs a year, so he never had to touch his television salary. He proudly said he never spent a single dime of his Tonight Show money. Jay does spend heavily on one thing: cars. His collection includes over 100 vehicles, including a McLaren Eve F1 he bought for $800,000 that later became worth around $12 million. But outside of cars, he's extremely careful. He hates shopping for clothes and sees it as a waste of money beyond basic needs. While hosting the show, his clothes were paid for, which only reinforced that habit. He also avoids credit cards and prefers to own everything outright: his buildings, his cars, his property. Jay explained that this conservative approach gives him peace of mind. If everything ended tomorrow, he knows exactly what he has. He credits his mindset to growing up with parents who lived through the Depression. They scared him into saving every penny. He admits it may sound old-fashioned, but for him, it works. And that quiet sense of security is something money alone can't buy. Mila Kunis. Mila Kunis has been in Hollywood for most of her life. She started young and became famous through That 70s Show, where she met Ashton Kutcher back in 1998. Their relationship took years to turn real, but when it did, it surprised everyone in more ways than one. When the couple got married, fans expected luxury. Instead, Mila revealed something very different. In a 2016 interview on Conan, she shared that their wedding bands were bought on Etsy. She said she looked at Tiffany rings first and was shocked by the prices. "It was astronomical," she said. Then she went online, saw rings for about $90 and joked, "Buy now." Even with huge success and recognition, Mila didn't see the point in spending more just for a name. That careful thinking goes deeper than jewelry. Despite being named one of the highest-paid actors in 2018, she admitted she has a hard time being wasteful. On Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, she said, "I have a very hard time being wasteful." She also avoids plastic bottles when she can. Her money mindset started early. Mila moved to the United States from Ukraine when she was just 7 years old. Her parents came with only $250 and left everything behind so their children could have a future. She explained that background shaped how she sees money and security. When you grow up knowing how fast things can disappear, spending carefully feels natural, and that mindset doesn't fade just because fame arrives. Keira Knightley. Keira Knightley has starred in many major films and built a long, successful acting career. Yet her lifestyle doesn't reflect what many would expect from someone with her level of fame. In a 2014 interview with Glamour, Keira revealed that she gives herself an annual salary of around $50,000. That number shocked people, especially since her net worth is estimated to be around $80 million. She confirmed the rumors and explained that if she needs something that costs more, she'll buy it, but otherwise she sticks to that limit. Her reason wasn't about saving every dollar. It was about staying connected to normal life. She explained that living an expensive lifestyle can separate you from people who don't live that way. It alienates you, she said. Some of her best and funniest memories, she added, came from the least luxurious places. To her, happiness isn't tied to expensive settings or high-end habits. It comes from shared moments and real connections. Keira made it clear that she doesn't need luxury to feel fulfilled. Her choices show that sometimes the biggest cost of wealth isn't money at all. It's distance from the people and moments that matter most. And that idea leads directly into another star who rethought how he moves through the world. Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the most recognizable actors in the world. From Titanic to The Wolf of Wall Street, his career has been massive. So it surprised many when he arrived at the 2021 climate conference COP26 on a commercial flight. Instead of using a private jet, he flew economy like most people do. According to reports, he chose this option because of his commitment to environmental causes. This was a noticeable change from earlier years, especially since he had once been criticized for flying long distances on private jets while promoting climate action. But his effort to live more modestly didn't stop with flights. Leonardo has also been open about driving a Toyota Prius around Hollywood. He once explained that the car is a step in the right direction. It's fuel-efficient and practical. He even bought several Priuses for family members and said he couldn't find any downside to them. For someone with endless resources, these choices stand out. They show a shift toward intention over image. Leonardo's lifestyle proves that even at the top of Hollywood, Some stars still think carefully about everyday decisions, and that careful thinking isn't limited to actors alone. Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is not a movie star, but his name is known around the world. As the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, he built a fortune worth over $100 billion. Yet his personal life remains incredibly simple. Buffett still lives in the same Omaha house he bought in 1958 for $30,000. The home has 5 bedrooms and is now worth just over $1 million. Compared to his wealth, that number is tiny. But Buffett sees no reason to move. In a BBC interview, he explained it plainly. He's warm in the winter, cool in the summer, and the house is convenient. "I couldn't imagine having a better house," he said. For him, comfort matters more than upgrades. His habits extend beyond housing. Despite being one of Apple's biggest investors, Buffett didn't switch from a flip phone to an iPhone until 2020. He joked about being slow to adapt to new technology. He also shared that he still watches his spending closely, even when buying breakfast. In his HBO documentary, he talked about choosing cheaper menu items at McDonald's based on how the market was doing that morning. These habits may seem small, but they reflect a consistent mindset. Buffett doesn't spend to impress. He spends to feel comfortable and secure. And that same thinking shows up again in Hollywood, in places you might least expect. Kristen Bell. Kristen Bell is known for roles in shows like Veronica Mars and The Good Place. She's also known for being open about her love of saving money. In 2012, she told Conan that she enjoys using coupons. That mindset showed up in one of the biggest moments of her life. When Kristen married Dax Shepard in 2013, the couple chose not to have a big wedding. Instead, they spent around $100 at a courthouse. Dax later explained that they didn't want a wedding at all. They didn't want stress about guests or food. They would rather use money to help family members instead. Kristen shared that the total cost was $147, including gas and music for the drive. She said her husband bought her favorite songs from high school to play in the car. That simple detail meant more to her than any grand ceremony. Their careful spending didn't stop there. The couple also shared that instead of buying gifts for each other during Christmas or birthdays, they use those moments to give to people in need. For Kristen, money is not about showing success. It's about choosing what truly matters. And that quiet choice leaves one last thought hanging. If so many famous people live this way, maybe wealth doesn't change values. Maybe it simply reveals them. Julia Fox, choosing normal for her son. Julia Fox became widely known for her acting and her bold public image. In 2023, she surprised many people when she shared a tour of her apartment on TikTok. Instead of a glamorous space, viewers saw what she described as a modest home. Some people online assumed she must be worth around $30 million and questioned why she lived that way. Julia quickly responded in another video. She made it clear that she is not worth $30 million, not even close. Then she said something even more telling. "I don't need $30 million. What does one person need $30 million for?" She explained that she has survived on much less and is doing just fine. The apartment, she said, is not about money at all. It's about her son. This was the home she brought him to after leaving the hospital. It's his space. She even called it Valentino's apartment. While she admitted she could probably afford a bigger place, especially living in New York, she chooses not to. For her, the sense of normal life matters more. She wants her son to grow up feeling stable and grounded. That choice shows how personal reasons can matter more than wealth. Hilary Swank. Hilary Swank is an Oscar-winning actor known for powerful roles in films like $1 Million Baby. Yet her everyday habits often surprise people. In a 2009 interview on Live with Regis and Kelly, Hilary openly talked about clipping coupons. She shut down any idea that she should be embarrassed by it. She said when you open the paper and see coupons, they look like dollar bills staring back at you. Using them feels natural to her. "It's how I grew up," she said. "It's in my bones." That upbringing matters. Hilary grew up in a trailer park in a small town in Washington. As a child, she sometimes slept in vacant houses and cars with her mother. Those experiences stayed with her. Even now, she rides the subway and jokes with fans who ask why. She says she's just a person with places to go, like anyone else. Hilary also makes her own clothes and even shared photos of sweaters she knitted for herself and her dog. Despite her success, she says she wouldn't change her past. It taught her appreciation and showed her what she could achieve through hard work. And that same grounded thinking appears again with another actor who refuses to overspend. Ashley Greene. Ashley Greene became famous through the Twilight films, which brought her global recognition and steady success. But even at the height of that fame, she stayed careful with money. In a 2012 interview with Marie Claire, Ashley admitted that flying first class internationally just isn't worth the cost to her. She said that after Twilight, traveling that way would be hard to give up, but the price doesn't make sense. Her father taught her to be frugal and save, and she took that lesson seriously. Ashley explained that saving gives her freedom. She wants to know that she doesn't have to take an acting job for 2 or 3 years if she doesn't want to. She wants to be sure she can still pay for her house, her car, and food for her dogs. For her, frugality isn't about missing out. It's about control and choice. That careful planning allows her to breathe easier in an uncertain industry. Sarah Jessica Parker. Sarah Jessica Parker is forever linked to Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City, a character known for luxury and designer shoes. But Parker's real life is very different. She grew up on welfare with 7 siblings. In interviews, she has spoken openly about growing up poor. There were times when her family didn't have electricity, phones were shut off, and birthdays or Christmases didn't happen. Those memories stayed with her. She explained that because of that childhood, she is very aware of money. What she wants most is for her children to not worry about finances. In a 2016 interview with InStyle, she said she dresses based on what she already has. She's not a big shopper, though she enjoys beautiful things and feels lucky to borrow them for work. Her wardrobe, she said, is pretty standard, aside from some wonderful shoes. She admitted she struggles between wanting to save and wanting to indulge. Part of her still wants to save everything, while another part wonders why she shouldn't enjoy a nice bag or another pair of Manolo Blahniks after working so hard for decades. She also said thrift stores played a huge role in her life before Sex and the City, and her mother strongly influenced how she dressed. Sarah Jessica Parker's story shows how success doesn't erase the past. It lives quietly inside, shaping every decision, even when the spotlight is bright. Which story surprised you the most? And did it change the way you think about money and success? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible stories from Hollywood's fascinating history. See you next time!